All right, 5:34 this morning. Let's get to this. Over the weekend, thousands of pro-Palestinian demonstrators held rallies across cities across the country demanding peace in the Israel-Hamas war. In Washington, D.C., protesters were outside of the White House calling on President Joe Biden to stop providing funding for Israel. Organizers say that it is the largest pro-Palestine rally in U.S. history. And at the Texas State Capitol, well, the Israeli-American Council in Shalom, Austin held a march for Israel. Community members rallied in support of the return of hostages taken by Hamas on October 7th and reuniting them with their families.
And as people make their voice heard in the USA, U.S. officials are conducting a full court press to keep the war between Israel and Hamas from exploding into a much bigger conflict throughout the Middle East.
As Israel conducted what it called a significant operation in Gaza, two Biden administration officials crisscrossed the region, trying to prevent the war from spilling over.
It was very important to send a very clear message to anyone who might seek to take advantage of the conflict in Gaza to threaten our personnel here or anywhere else in the region. Don't do it.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Turkey earlier today after a clandestine visit to Iraq and a meeting with the leader of the Palestinian Authority in the occupied West Bank. This as CIA Director William Burns is also in Israel. The U.S. continues to push Israel for pauses in the fighting as outrage grows among some U.S. allies over the unfolding humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza.
Israel's raised important questions about how humanitarian pauses would work. We've got to answer those questions. We're working on exactly that.
The White House also hoping a pause will aid negotiations to free more than 200 Hamas-held hostages.
It is a huge priority for the president and for all of us to get as many of those hostages home, including obviously the American citizens who are held there, as soon as possible. And we believe that is still possible.
Back in Washington, the Republican House Speaker continues to make the case for tying any additional U.S.-provided foreign aid for Ukraine to increase funding to secure the U.S.'s southern border.
We don't want Vladimir Putin to prevail. We can't afford that. The free world can't afford that. But we have to take care of our own border first.
Despite the Israel-only House bill passed last week, the Senate is expected to take up a much broader foreign aid bill soon. Since October 7th, militias connected to Iran have claimed responsibility for 40 attacks against U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria. The U.S. has conducted 2 airstrikes in Syria in retaliation. In Washington, Chris Pallone,